Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to thank you all for your understanding as I took my little break. It was much needed, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So I thought I'd jump back in with something that I find really interesting, and I hope that you do as well. This really, really well-made OTF knife is the Axial Shift. Now, this came from the Black Widow Pass-Around group, hashtag Black Widow Pass-Around group, and I'm very grateful for them for sending it along to me. It is... well, it's just very comfortable. It is very snappy. And I really like the styling. I'm not really an OTF guy. My automatic knife tastes run more to stuff like this, or this. I'm more of a side fire guy, it turns out. But in my collecting and reviewing career, I've had a number of OTFs come across the table. And the Axial Shift here is very, very good. Let's talk about why. First, it is more ergonomic and more comfortable than your standard Microtech. It just is. The way it flares down here, the way this handle is shaped is exceptionally comfortable, both right and left hand. The pocket clip, which you can order when you order these on left or right hand carry, is reversible. As you can see, it pokes through on this side. It is very stable, very secure. It has plenty of spring, right? It's got decent ramp and it fits in the pocket really well. Now, it is not as deep carry as I would prefer, but it is very easy to carry. I really want to take a minute. The aluminum the aluminum handle here is really well done. Everything is milled beautifully. It's very comfortable, right? It's only got screws on what is, at this point, the clip side, but you could flip it, right? So that makes the show side exceptionally clean. And really, it's very comfortable. It offers you an S35VN blade. They come in a bunch of different shapes. This, of course, is the double-edged sort of spear point. They have a Wharncliffe version. They have a drop point version. They come with black stonewash. They come... however you want this knife, you can get it. And I really like that. I am really into that action, right? There's a little bit of blade play. Not more, not less than you get with your, say, typical Microtech, but, it's there. If that sort of thing bugs you, you're going to notice it. It's got this interesting little, millwork on the blade right here. Sort of a style point. Looks really good. I like it. The edge on this is very sharp, and this is a pass-around knife, which means it has gone through a number of different reviewers before it landed with me, and it seems to have held up really well. I will say the same about the anodizing on the aluminum handle here. Often with aluminum, it shows wear really easily, and this thing, it just looks brand new. So let's do some other size comparisons. You've seen it up against my two favorite side-firing automatics, but let's put it up against something a little more familiar to many of you. Here it is against the Bug Out. As you can see, it is a longer knife than the Bug Out. But not really in the blade. You get just a little bit more cutting. We line those up, but not much. Really where you get more knife here is in the handle. And of course you get two edges, which may or may not work for you depending on where you live. Here it is against the Rat Model 1. These knives have, again, similar cutting. Now, mind you, this one has been modified by BJ Hill, so it used to have a little more edge than it does now, right? But an unmodified version of the Rat 1's got about the same blade length, cutting edge, I should say, as the Axial Shift here. These knives are, this one's a little thicker, right? And of course the Bug Out is much thinner. But with an OTF, you don't really, this is it. This is your grip, right? So having a slightly thicker handle actually pays off in the end because it gives you something to hold on to. Now, I would not have chosen the spear point. I would have chosen I would not have chosen double edge. I'm not a double edge knife guy. Daggers are not my thing. But I understand the draw here. Here it is against the Quiet Carry Drift, which is a small knife that I really enjoy. As you can see, there's smuts all over the blade, so I use this thing all the time. Again, the Axial Shift is a larger, it's a full-size OTF. It really is. In fact, let's talk about how big it is. The blade is just shy of 3 1/4 inches of cutting. Looks like a little over 3 1/4 inches overall. The grip area, because the entire knife is grip area, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4 on this side, right down here where your fingers need to be. The handle itself, like I said, a little over 4 3/4. The overall knife from tip to tail, what are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 1/4 inches overall, right? About the same, right? Not bad. OTFs are a very particular thing. You either like them or you don't. However, if you're interested in one, Axial might be a good company to start with because these start at about $200, which puts them more than the budget stuff, and the materials are way better here than a lot of the really cheap budget stuff you can get. This puts you into high-end knife materials without $300-400 or more, which is what you pay for a really high-end out the front. So it's a really nice balance. They've managed to produce a knife that feels, well, it punches above its weight class where money is concerned. Now, they happen to be on sale right now, and I'll put the link to their website in the description. Please be aware of your local laws. If you can't have one of these, don't try to order one. Here in California, we can own them. We just can't carry them, which is its own level of absurdity, but there you are. That's the way it is. It's just a nice knife. I hope that they produce other things. I would love to see Axial do some side-fire stuff, right? Because I would definitely be into that. If they're going to produce knives at this quality, that look this good, that feel this good, well, then I'm going to keep an eye on what they're doing. And I hope you will too. Let's go ahead and weigh it real quick before we go. Mm-hmm. 3.7 ounces, not too bad for a full size out the front. Maybe that's what it is. The aluminum it's not thin. I mean, there's a lot of knife here, and maybe that's why it feels more expensive than it should, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I really like this thing. And like I said, I'm not an out the front guy, so that's saying something. But there we are. This is the Axial Shift. It is S35VN, double-edged blade. But again, you can get one in any style you want. They've got 2 or 3 different styles. This one is the stonewash, but you can get one in black wash if you want. This one is blue. They come in black and a whole bunch of other different colors. You guys know I would have the black one. It's really, really very well done. And I want to comment before we go on the switch. One of the things that I like about some Microtechs and don't like about others is how stiff the switch is. This, right? You get a little bit of push, and then it just snaps open, right? It is very smooth. It is very consistent, and it is very easy to do. This is just a great knife. Anyway, this is the Axial Shift. I know how to speak. Watch me go. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this knife or, any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.